Uh, yes, the Casanovians. Boys. Cold approach is bicep curls for the balls. So we were just having a discussion in our private WhatsApp group in the Entourage, and it's one of our guys' first day of his in-person immersion with me today. So you might have heard of Jazz. I'm going to be coaching him in London today, and yeah, really looking forward to it. And he's feeling a little bit jet lagged. His energy's quite low, feeling a little bit socially, emotionally, physically fatigued. So he just dropped a video message into our WhatsApp group where he was recording himself out in public, because that's just an amazing thing to do, to just get your energy, get your aura on point, is just start recording yourself out in public, because it's going to invite the social spotlight onto you. It's something that typically most people don't want to do. Most people want to avoid the spotlight, but by embracing the spotlight, by actively inviting the social spotlight, by doing something more socially unorthodox like recording yourself in public, it quickly breaks the social ice, it quickly breaks down those social barriers, and it just makes you feel like an absolute guy. So we had one of our guys introduce the phrase ballz maxing. I just really like this concept, like ballz maxing, cold approach being bicep curls for the balls. So in the Entourage, we were saying to Jazz, listen, dude, all that this is about is developing a massive set of balls, right? Every single approach that you do, it's another rep for your balls, right? It's like having the Tony Montana type of energy, right? Like that really is all this dating game comes down to, right? It's not about what you have, it's about who you are. And that really got exemplified to me yesterday when I was filming in London. Just torpedoed into town, closed 5 girls within the space of a couple of hours. And I'm like, whoa, I've really leveled up. But it's interesting because I'm not even doing anything special anymore. Like, I used to put a lot of emphasis onto overall conversation skills. I think that stemmed from insecurity though. I think because I spent a decade as a magician, I almost felt as though my ultimate purchasing power in the sexual marketplace was going to be my poetic masterpiece conversational ability. So that I think it's kind of just like a rite of passage. I think it's like we don't know what we don't know when we first get started with this, but now I'm just realizing more and more that if you actually want to get dates on demand, multiple dates a week, girls who are blowing up your phone, desperate to see you, from cold approach, like from organic face-to-face interaction, it's more about the removal of the unnecessary. You know what I mean? So rather than adding more and more things to your conversational artillery, it's actually just removing these things. Like when I was doing the approaches that I was doing yesterday, I was literally just going over, being like, hey, you look great, let's go on a date together. And the more you open, the more you close. It is a lottery when you go out there, it's a numbers game. But what I identified yesterday was it's all about your balls, right? It's all about your balls. It's because, you know, like people always, they speak about the whole, looks, money, status, right? Oh, you're only going to make it if you've got looks, money, and status. And yeah, these things are important. I think they're going to boost your overall notion of self-adoration. I think we should do everything within our power to do some hashtag life maxing, just like leveling up our value across the board, but not thinking that it's going to be these things which are going to attract beautiful women into our lives. It's who we become through achieving these things. And I think anything worthwhile achieving in life on this process of masculine renaissance, anything worthwhile does take balls. You know what I mean? Like if you want to get a great body, if you want to build an amazing business, if you want to have a gob-smackingly gorgeous girlfriend, it's going to take balls, right? It's going to take you to show up every single day, do what terrifies you, dive bomb into discomfort, forge a new identity through the fires of adversity, and just continue to elevate, continue to become the most fuckable version of you every single day. But like, just having money, just having a nice body, just having a nice car, a nice watch, a nice penthouse, it's not the thing which attracts, it's who you become through these things, and how the acquisition of these materialistic trophies or vanity metrics, how they feed in to your overall perception of yourself. Does that make sense? So like, now when I'm going over to women who I find attractive, it's like, okay, my finances are on point, I've built a really good social network, I've got a solid body, I'm living this international lifestyle. So like, now when I'm going over to women, I'm operating from this place of wholeness rather from this place of lack. But I still need to have the balls to put myself in there. This is what I notice a lot with the high achieving guys who I work with. It's like, the higher that we climb, I think it's easier for the ego to start getting in the way. So like, when I'm working with multi-millionaires and I'm teaching them how to cold approach, oftentimes they can actually have a lot more resistance than the average guy, because it's almost like they've built so much value that the higher they climb, the further that they can fall. But it's all about your balls, right? It really is about your balls. It's just you putting yourself in there, like just putting yourself into as many conversations as possible. Like, there's no getting around it, right? Like, if you actually want to dominate the dating arena, if you actually want to get dates on demand and have more high quality options than you know what to do with, and you know you don't want to be swiping, you don't want to be hanging around grotty nightclubs, you know, you don't want to be DMing women on a like a little simp, you don't want to be strategically trying to get women through your social circle. It's about developing a big set of balls and understanding belief follows action, right? Belief follows action. You're not going to have rockstar confidence by just watching these live streams every single day. Like, sure, they're going to help to motivate you, they're going to give you optimism in the absence of certainty, but just consuming content is not enough. You actually need to put yourself out there in the field to develop the balls, to become the version of you who you need to become, so cold approach can actually work for you. It's like, I'm not teaching you how cold approach works, I'm teaching you how you can become the version of yourself who cold approach works for. Does that make sense? Because if you're not getting the results from cold approach that you want at the moment, then there's clearly something wrong, right? Like, if you could already be dating the sort of women you wanted to be dating, you'd already be doing it, right? So that's why we need to metaphorically crucify this current version of us and become he who can. And the way that we do that is by taking the actions that this current version of ourselves wouldn't usually take, yeah? So going out into your city centre today and just say to yourself, right, I'm going to do one direct cold approach. I'm going to do one direct cold approach in 15 minutes. Or maybe I'm going to go into my city centre, I'm going to do 5 direct cold approaches in 1 hour. And the only outcome is the action, right? Being action focused rather than outcome dependent, and viewing every single rep that you're doing as an investment into the identity of the person who you want to embody. So not going out to get phone numbers, not going out to get dates, not going out to get happy endings right now. It's, I'm going to do these reps to grow my balls. Every rep that I do, every conversation that I put myself into, every like declining of my invitation that happens, like, oh, I'm sorry, I've got a boyfriend, oh, I'm in a rush, oh, I don't speak English, whatever it is, we celebrate every time that we put ourselves in there. Belief follows action, all right? All that this is, cold approach, it's bicep curls for the balls, right? The bigger we can grow our balls, the more audacious, the more bold, the more confident that we're going to feel. The more confident that we feel, the more we're able to start experiencing success in advance. Remembering, she feels what you feel. She is very much your mirror. So by developing a big set of balls, putting yourself through the social fire, especially when you don't feel like it, it's not going to be your first approach that gets you that result. It might not even be your 100th approach, but when you do eventually start meeting women and your approaches are just so on point that she's just blown away immediately, it's been the compounding of the actions that you've taken, right? Like, this is something that I learned from millionaires. Millionaires don't think in terms of days, they think in terms of decades. It's like, the actions that I take today, they might not pay off for another 3 months, 6 months down the line, but I'm investing into myself, right? You are your biggest asset. And this is like, You know, guys will throw money at so many things in order to receive love from the feminine, right? It's why they get the flashy car, the nice watch, the penthouse in Malibu. All of these things are done in order to receive love from the feminine, in order to, on a biological level, attract to mate and procreate. But you don't need all of these things. You don't need to, like, I think so many guys today have just been brainwashed by the brain dead. Like, they've essentially just been lied to. Like, you don't need to become this paragon of perfection. You don't need to become this high-value man who's making 8 figures, driving a Lambo and wearing some, like, fucking, I don't know, Gucci tracksuit. Like, you don't need these materialistic trophies. Like, if you want to acquire them, great, do it. But do them because you enjoy doing them and because they feed into your sense of self-adoration. Does this make sense? I hope that this is making sense. Like, I work with these guys. Like, I work with the stereotypical high-value men who should be crushing it on paper. But the reason why they apply to work with me is because they understand it's not what you have, it's who you are. It's not what you say, it's not how you say it, it's who you are when you say it. Doing cold approach is the greatest investment I've ever made into my own self-identity. It's been the thing that's actually allowed me to love myself like my life depends on it. And I'm only just getting started. I'm only 27 years old. I'm like a rising stock. I'm like Bitcoin in 2008. Like, go read my white paper. But like, I used to think I was confident. I used to think that I had balls before getting started with cold approach because I'd spent a decade of my life performing magic. But I realized I just had situational confidence. I didn't have core balls, right? And I've developed that through cold approach by just continuing to put myself in there, developing myself holistically as a human being. 4 years ago, I was a porn addict. I had erectile dysfunction. I looked like a turnip. I dressed like a moron. Never done a direct cold approach in my life. I was working a dead-end job for minimum wage in a city that I despise. It was a pandemic. I was getting comments on the regular from guys being like, you're ugly, you're a 4 out of 10 at best, you're physically disadvantaged. So when I'm speaking to you, I'm not speaking to you as a guru. I'm speaking to you as a brother. I'm speaking to you as someone who gets it. I'm speaking to you as someone who made the decision to make the best of himself and understands now it's all about your balls. And I'm so happy I've discovered this at 27 years old. Most people discover this too late, or they never even discover it at all. Most people are NPCs. They're sleepwalking their way through life. They're going to wake up when the best years are behind them. So, dude, if you're watching this content, if you stumble across my videos, then God's watching you. Like, God is fucking rooting for you, because this is the real shit right here. I'm not just one of those talking head channels who just makes videos in the comfort of his apartment at home teaching you how to attract women. I actually put myself out there. I actually document my entire journey. I actually teach by doing, right? So I think this is probably, I would say, the most unique dating channel on the entire internet, because you get to see my holistic personal renaissance mission. You get to see me out in the field cold approach, and you see me live stream every single day, traveling across the world, scaling my business in real time. Like, it's just fucking cool, and it's just an absolute pleasure to be on this journey with you. So yeah, it's all about your balls. Yeah, cold approach is bicep curls for the balls. Every time you put yourself into that approach, remind yourself you're investing into the identity of the person who you want to embody. All right, I love you. Bye.